Welcome, come on in. Crystal's here, let's begin. No time for that fake stuff. Diamond in the rough, we dive in. Knows why. Real talk, hit it hard. Things run real. Crime talk, that's the deal. Crystal's crime conversations. Real talk, no hesitations. Crystal's crime conversations. Fun around raw, all sensations. Welcome, come on in. Fun and raw, all sensations. Let's go.
This is like the extra spicy. I'm like, no, 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 Batman. All right. Okay.
We don't have the evidence in this case to know for sure whether or not Summer was abducted or whether or not she walked away from her home and became lost. It's really important to us to not focus all of our efforts on just one of those two. We think that the only way we'll be successful in finding Summer is to continue to walk down both of those investigative paths to ensure that we don't become focused on one area alone and miss something that's crucially important. I would say this case has not gone cold. A cold case is typically framed up as a case where there are no tips or leads that are coming in and there are no investigative efforts that are happening because there is no place to travel with the investigation. I would say in this case, thanks to the public, we've continued to have tips and leads that have come in that agents have been able to follow up on continuously. And the agents have worked tirelessly when tips and leads weren't coming in to try to find ways to investigate when typically people would lay down their effort. It has been a great partnership between the community and law enforcement to not let this case sit and go sterile. We continue to focus on ground search efforts. We continue to focus on interviews of those who may have information about vehicles that have traveled through the area or technology that could have been used that may give us an investigative lead. All stones are being turned over. There's not one thing that's being done. We've been extremely creative as we've investigated this case and continue to try to find ways to turn over rocks that we didn't even know that were there to turn over. Children are our top priority at TBI. They are the most vulnerable population that we have. They're our most precious things in our world. TBI has always placed an emphasis on missing children. We've done that through multiple programs that are established here. We look for children when most people aren't. And this case is one that we've just not been able to overcome, and it's troubling. Many people have speculated what they think has happened in this case. The difficult part of the speculation is that if we as investigators speculate, and focus our efforts in one direction, we're making a huge mistake. We have to make sure that we're being completely comprehensive as we investigate. And being focused in one direction is a tragedy for an investigation. So until we find evidence that points us in a direction that we know is the right direction, we'll continue to be comprehensive. We'll continue to explore every option that can be out there, and we would continue to ask for the public's help in doing so. Typically, we have a couple of agents assigned to an investigation, and that's been enough. We've had over 6,500 leads, tips and leads come in on this case. Those have all been reviewed. They've been worked. We continue to get those. And it is a monstrous task, but it's one that's not overwhelmed us. We have been strategic in the way that we've handled this investigation. We have some of our most talented agents assigned to this case, some of our most talented intelligence analysts from the Bureau assigned to this case. We have brought in subject matter experts within TBI from across the state to assist in this investigation. We have thrown everything that we know to throw at this case, and we haven't had the answers that we need yet. We know we'll get them, but we don't have them today. When I see the picture of Summer Wells, I see my daughter. And I can tell you that if my daughter was missing, I would sure hope that somebody was looking for her every day. And it brings me concern and satisfaction, really, the concern that we don't have the answers, the satisfaction of knowing that we have the best agents at TBI that are working on this case in connection with other local law enforcement and federal agencies who are doing their best. And if my daughter was missing, all of the people that are working on this case are the people who I would choose to work on a case if my daughter was missing. We don't have the evidence in this case to know for sure whether or not Summer was abducted or whether or not she walked away from her home and became lost. It's really important to us to not focus all of our efforts on just one of those two. We think that the only way we'll be successful in finding Summer is to continue to walk down both of those investigative paths on just one of those two. The night she walked away from her home and became lost. It's really important to us to not focus all of our not Summer was abducted or whether or not she walked away from her home and became lost. The evidence in this case to know for sure whether or not Summer was abducted or whether or not she walked away from her home and became lost.
Ryan, we're going to go right into your live next. I literally watched 2 minutes of it before I decided to come live and debunk the first 2 minutes of your live. One more time, that part.
The evidence in this case to know for sure. We don't have the evidence in this case to know for sure whether or not Summer was abducted.
They don't know whether Summer was abducted or whether
or not she walked away from her home and became lost.
Or whether Summer walked away from her home and became lost. Abductions usually happen with people out of state. Let me show you one that came very close to Summer Wells area. Okay, Ryan. We're just going along.
Teenage girl reported missing in Kentucky, now found inside this Glassport apartment building. Police say the suspect drove hundreds of miles to meet the girl.
And then cut off an ankle monitor that she was wearing. Channel 11's Aaron Martin is live tonight with how police tracked her down. Aaron?
Lisa and David, this actually started off as a conversation on Instagram and quickly escalated from there, turning into a 10-hour drive all the way to Kentucky. And tonight we're learning why conversations between the victim and investigators could lead to more charges against the suspect, Rory Shelton. A missing girl investigation in Paducah, Kentucky came to an end 600 miles away inside this apartment building on Monongahela Avenue in Glassport. It's where investigators found the missing 16-year-old with 56-year-old Rory Shelton yesterday.
I've seen him walk past all the time. We speak, he says hello. He seemed like a very friendly man to me.
According to the criminal complaint obtained by Channel 11, Shelton told investigators he met the teenager on Instagram. Last week, he rented a car and drove to Kentucky to pick her up. She was wearing a court-ordered ankle monitor from a previous incident, which Shelton told police he cut off of her ankle before they drove back to Glassport. As of right now, those are the only charges he's facing. After initially telling Glassport police he didn't know the victim, Shelton admitted she was in his apartment when confronted again. The complaint reads, quote, "She was found inside the apartment completely naked. While at the hospital, the female stated to Glassport police that she and Shelton were getting married and that he would protect her." Legal experts say more charges are possible, particularly if investigators determine the two had sex. Neighbors told Channel 11 Shelton confided in them that he was lonely after his girlfriend died, but they didn't expect anything like this.
It shocked me. It makes you want to hold your babies closer. You know, it's really scary. You never know who, someone's true colors. It's crazy.
And we're told by investigators that they'll soon be taking that 16-year-old back to her home in Kentucky. Reporting live tonight.
Hey, Lisa. Nothing like Summer's case. But what it shows you is that a child could be taken over state lines if abducted or if walked away from her home and picked up by somebody. Ryan, it is our job, if my children went missing, as Milton's gonna say, I would pray to fucking God, whether you loved me or hated me, that you didn't hate my children, and that because you live in Tennessee, that you wouldn't look for my children. I would pray to God that if one of your children or grandchildren went missing, that you wouldn't want people, or I pray to God the people you don't want to look for your children would be the exact people looking for your children. Because when you're stopping people from looking for a missing child, it looks like you have ulterior motives. It doesn't make sense. I've spoken to Layla's mom personally, and I know Layla's mom told me she wants everybody putting Layla's picture out there. I have not seen her come to your channel and ask that her daughter's picture not be placed. Now, Layla was a little older than this girl. My live from, I guess now, yesterday, I told you about people connected to this very building where I once was held, locked in a room. I know what goes on there, and I know it don't just go on there. I know things like this go on all over America, and whether you be in California, Illinois, Florida, Texas, Alabama, when there's a child missing, there's always a chance that that child was taken over state lines. So for you to come out here and talk about if you don't live in Tennessee, don't look for Summer, because that's what that first 2 fucking minutes I listened to sounded like. You're dead fucking wrong, and that's not what Mr. Milton says. Now, I told you I know somebody connected to the same people at this building where I just let you watch a news broadcast from. You know what? Never mind. Back to Mountain Ryan.
it's really important to us to not focus all of our efforts on just one of those two. We think that the only way we'll be successful in finding Summer is to continue to walk down both of those investigative paths to ensure that we don't become focused on one area alone and miss something that's crucially important. I would say this case has not gone cold. A cold case is typically framed up as a case where there are no tips or leads that are coming in, and there are no investigative efforts that are happening because there is no place to travel with the investigation.
Can I see the phone?
Yeah.
Do you want to know how confident I am Vicky Dykes is the same woman I think she is? Come on, TBI. Wow.
TBI, how can I help you?
Yeah, hi, my name's Crystal Sims. I've been in contact with you guys over the last 5 years, probably 40, 50 times, through email, through my YouTube, through everything. I've been discovering links up to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania that connect directly to Rogersville. I have a huge tip for you. There's a woman that lives in a neighborhood. Her name is Vicky Dykes. Vicky Dykes, I believe, used to live in a neighborhood called Glassport, Pennsylvania. I know fact, growing up as a kid, that this woman was a madam. I know her connections. I know what she did in life. I can give you names. I have screenshots of victims that connect everything that I believe connect to Summer Wells, which may be the reason Summer is gone. Frank Hill recently did an interview with Ryan Finds Truth, where he had mentioned the red truck. He knows what happened to the red truck and that it was sold and sent to Colombia. I believe there are connections to Miami Beach, Florida, to my family. TBI is well aware of this. We've spoken several times, but I really have a lot of information concerning Vicky Dykes. And this time I think it's serious, and I think a TBI agent needs to call me back.
Okay, what would be a good phone number for them to use to contact you?
It's 412.
All right. And then you said your name was Crystal Sims. What I'm going to recommend as well is, if are you aware of our tips, the TBI email?
Yes, and I'm going to send those tips with my screenshots from a victim who was part of this trafficking ring. I know fact is in Pittsburgh,
Okay,
and
good.
I know bars, strip clubs, and people who are connected to it 100% with proof. And I
All right,
believe
I'll
it
send
connects
what
down
you-
to Tennessee, and I have the line of connections. I do believe this would be a path Summer may be gone, because I was told years ago as a child there was a girl named Sylvia. I know her last name. I'm live, and I'm calling this tip in live. That's how serious I am. This is being recorded. But there was a young girl named Sylvia I know connects to these people that told me herself she was trafficked by them at the age of 4 or 5. I believe I was only like 12 or 13 at the time, and I was scared to tell adults, but I could give you the line of travel.
All right. Yeah, if you could just put that in your tips to TBI, because I'm just an after hours operator, so all I can do is just pass along this information, because none of our agents will be in until Monday.
All right, that sounds good. Just pass that along, and I will also, after my live, send an email.
All right. Sounds good. I hope you have a great night.
You too. Thank you so much.
All right. You're welcome. Goodbye.
Bye. I don't believe any tip is too small. And one day, one of our tips might lead to finding this little girl. And if I'm thinking what I'm thinking, this tip is going to lead to finding many women and many little girls. But let's continue listening to Josh Melton, and then we're going to jump over to Ryan.
I would say in this case, thanks to the public, we've continued to have tips and leads that have come in that agents have been able to follow up on continuously. And the agents have worked tirelessly when tips and leads weren't coming in to try to find ways to investigate when typically people would lay down their effort. It has been a great partnership between the community and law enforcement to not let this case sit and go sterile. We continue to focus on ground search efforts. We continue to focus on interviews of those who may have information about vehicles that have traveled through the area or
I just turned in a tip that came directly from Ryan Finds Truth channel about vehicles that possibly could have traveled in the area, since Frank Hill believes that the vehicle he had was sold in Colombia. I think they need to go question him about that. Now, wouldn't you, Ryan? Why didn't you call in that tip? It's odd to send old farm trucks to another fucking country, especially one like Colombia, where we are right now bombing boats in the fucking ocean for shipping tons and tons of drugs that drowned our communities and make it so that children like Summer Wells goes missing. You truly are a piece of shit for telling people not to call in tips, especially when you're holding one.
technology that could have been used that may give us an investigative lead. All stones are being turned over. There's not one thing that's being done. We've been extremely creative as we've investigated this case and continue to try to find ways to turn over rocks that we didn't even know that were there to turn over. Children are our top priority at TBI. They are the most vulnerable population that we have. They're our most precious things in our world. TBI has always placed an emphasis on missing children, and we've done that through multiple programs that are established.
Truth. I think every agency has a rough time because nobody's perfect. I think every case is different. I think TBI has failed Summer Wells. However, I don't think that they mean to purposely. I think there's been interference with crooked ass fucking cops in Rogersville. It is my opinion Ronnie Lawson is a crooked ass motherfucker. I would even go as far as looking at him the same way I look at the crooked ass cop in the neighborhood I grew up in that I've been telling you about, who would happen to be Vicky Dykes' stepson, sort of. I don't know if they ever got married, but they dated. and we used to party up at her house a lot. I am confident. Maybe God strike me wrong, but no tip is too small when it comes to somebody who is fucking missing. Even if I'm wrong, hate me, sue me, do what you got to do, but there's a possibility I'm right, and I have many reasons for thinking so. Go to my Facebook, scroll down, look at the comments I got on a post from yesterday or the day before that came in today, and the ones that are ignored by the people I'm accusing. Right, their programs aren't working. I don't believe the Amber Alert works. I believe it's a tool. I believe it could be helpful, but I think after so many years in technology, upping and becoming better, that there needs to be a lot more tweaking to the Amber Alert system. I remember at the beginning of Summer's case, there was a lot of confusion because there wasn't a truck when her case first went out, and people on YouTube made it a big fucking deal. Like, there's no vehicle. How do you know it's an abduction? And then a few days later, the vehicle had come out, maybe a day or two. Was that vehicle forced because of social media? We'll never know. We know Frank Hill said they were still looking for the vehicle on his property, and that came from Ryan's fucking channel. You know what? Before I move on, I wanted to go over something. Dude did an amazing. Give me 14 minutes. If you've watched this, watch it again. Truly, I have no commentary, but I want you to listen. Hey, Jill. All right, honey. Sleep tight. Killer Looks did an amazing video the other day just on technology that since Summer has gone missing has come to light. He had done a lot of fucking research for this video, and I haven't seen it being shared, and it gets Summer's face out there. So I think it's important that we watch this. So give me 14 minutes because I'm in no rush. I'm wide awake. I'm just drinking coffee. We can go back to Ryan in a minute and Milton. But since we're talking about technology and I'm giving the commentary in between, I think it's really important that those of you that didn't see this and those of you that have seen it still see it and share. Share the fuck out of this video. Killer Looks did an amazing fucking job on it.
Gifts. Adventure is a gift. What is in here is a gift. You do not think like other men. You are unpredictable. That will serve you well. Use your anger intelligently. And I promise you, my son, that one day the whole world will know and fear.
Damn, Killer. You better be careful.
The Kingsport man has been arrested on a charge of aggravated sexual exploitation of a minor. The Sullivan County Sheriff's Office says James McKinney was arrested following a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children.
From the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children.
Law enforcement says it surrounded images of suspected child pornography uploaded to the internet. Information obtained from the internet service provider led investigators to speak with McKinney. Additional charges investigators say are pending. He remains in the Sullivan County Jail.
In the shadows of the Appalachian foothills, the search for Summer Wells has long felt like a battle against time, nature, and a profound lack of digital footprints. For nearly 5 years, the case of the 5-year-old girl who vanished from her home on Ben Hill Road in June 2021 has remained an open wound for East Tennessee. But could the theory of recent arrest in Kingsport be the breakthrough the region has prayed for? In this analysis, we examine the theory that a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children wasn't a routine alert, but a targeted biometric strike made possible by a new era of child identification technology that has only recently come online, and how it may be connected to a missing child in the area. To understand how a digital tip leads to a physical arrest in a case this cold, one must look at the evolution of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children forensic capabilities. For decades, the center relied on hashing, a process of identifying exact digital copies of known illegal images. However, in 2025 and early 2026, the threshold for identification shifted into the realm of biometrics. The National Center for Missing Exploited Children now utilizes a sophisticated facial recognition and identification system that functions more like a DNA match than a photo search. This technology doesn't look for an identical image. It maps the permanent skeletal markers, iris patterns, and unique facial geometry of missing children.
The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children collaborates with law enforcement in an effort to reduce and combat child sexual exploitation. Every week, our victim identification team is reviewing anywhere from 500,000 to 1 million child sexual abuse images and videos. At the end of the day, our team is looking for nuggets of information that's going to help law enforcement identify child sexual abuse victims. It's looking for a needle in a haystack, and time is critical when these children have ongoing abuse taking place.
The nature of child sexual abuse material is such that these children are re-victimized over and over and over again. In my 15 years of working here, I have seen the same videos this week as I did in 2006. And that's something that, is very heartbreaking, and it's upsetting.
As we were seeing the same sexually abusive images of videos being reported over and over, it was critical that we found a technology that could help us weed through this material. We don't have an army of staff, and we have to leverage technology to the best of our ability. One of the first tech companies that I reached out to was Videntifier. I called Siggy, who is the CEO, and told him we needed their help.
So when we got the call from John, we immediately thought we can do something here. Our technology is very robust, so it means that we can identify duplicated content, even though it has been modified. And by modified, I mean rotations, cropping, text overlays, and so on. NACMA currently has a database of close to 30 million videos, containing about 1 million hours of content. But with our technology, it is possible to find content in this database in less than 1 second. And to identify the content, you only need a few frames of the video, sometimes even a single frame, and you can find the content.
Using tools like Videntifier and being able to scale it across our entire ecosystem of images and videos that we've received allows us to quickly identify which new material coming in is visually unique versus the ones we've already reviewed, categorized, and labeled. Those that we've already seen before, we can keep those to the side and stay focused on brand new material where children may be at most risk.
We don't have to do that manual review process anymore. It can find the videos that are new for us. It can find the ones that we've never seen before, and that's what we can lay eyes on first thing in the morning to get that information out to law enforcement. So they hopefully can go out and actually rescue that child victim and remove them from harm.
This breakthrough is further powered by advanced age progression artificial intelligence. In the years since Summer vanished, forensic artists and AI models have meticulously projected how she would look. These aren't just guesses. They are predictive models based on sibling and parental phenotypes. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children new systems can now cross-reference these AI-generated future faces against newly discovered media in real time. If a man in Kingsport was captured in possession of material showing a child who had aged several years since 2021, the AI would be the only thing capable of making the connection. This facial recognition technology could also take old photos of Summer and scrub newly found media. This silent alarm would bypass traditional local lead vetting and go straight to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation's Specialized Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, pinpointing the suspect's IP address and physical residence within minutes.
We continue to focus on ground search efforts. We continue to focus on interviews of those who may have information about vehicles that have traveled through the area or technology that could have been used that may give us an investigative lead.
In this high-stakes scenario, the aggravated sexual exploitation of a minor charge functions as a vital procedural anchor. In the legal world, this is often referred to as a holding charge. It is a serious felony that allows prosecutors to request high bonds or no bond status, ensuring the suspect remains in a cell while forensic teams begin the monumental task of dismantling his physical and digital life. When a tip from a missing children's unit involves a specific high-profile victim, the arrest is only the first domino. It grants the TBI and the FBI's child abduction rapid deployment. CARD team the legal authority to seize every hard drive, search every floorboard, and utilize ground-penetrating radar on the property without the suspect being able to destroy evidence. They aren't just looking for images. They are looking for the physical echoes of Summer Wells, her signature pink shirt, a discarded toy, or biological evidence that proves she was physically present. Is this why the recent Van Hill search and raid? The geography of this theory is particularly haunting. Kingsport serves as the industrial and urban hub for the surrounding rural counties, including Hawkins County, where Summer lived. This was also the place where Summer's mother took her the same day, in the morning before she was reported missing. This is also the location where Tony Hammonds tried to take a little boy from his own front yard in broad daylight. This proximity turns the suspect's home into the most significant crime scene in Tennessee history, as it represents the first physical link between the urban Vale of Kingsport and the hollows of Rogersville. This theory brings a chilling clarity to the persistent warnings of Don Wells. Since the earliest days of the investigation, Summer's father has maintained that his daughter didn't wander off into the mountains, but was snatched by a sophisticated trafficking element. He has frequently spoken of a dark world where children are taken and held for years. If a suspect was caught through the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children biometric match, it validates Don's darkest conviction that Summer was entered into a documented digital system of the most evil world. But this would imply her disappearance wasn't a random tragedy, but a calculated sale. The presence of her likeness on a local resident's device would prove that she was being archived or shared not only before but long after the physical ground searches had been called off and the purple ribbons had faded. Even if the man claims he found the images in the dark corners of the web, his possession of them makes him a central node in the conspiracy. The TBI would be working under the theory that either he took the images himself or he is in direct contact with the person who possibly did. Every message, every metadata tag, and every timestamp on those files becomes a roadmap. And that was something we were led to pay attention to. Whether this leads to a physical recovery or a definitive answer regarding her fate, the tip from the missing children's unit is a possible smoking gun that could prove the internet is no longer a safe harbor for those who hide children in the shadows thanks to facial recognition technology. As the TBI, FBI, Greene County and Sullivan County authorities process the evidence from the recent Van Hill raid, the world waits for the next drop in the Summer Wells case. But it is also essential to recognize that as compelling as this digital trail seems, it remains a theory built on the intersection of proximity and timing. In the world of high-stakes investigations, a tip from a missing children's unit can be a powerful lead, but it is not always a definitive link to a local missing child's case. There is a very real possibility that this arrest is exactly what it appears to be on the surface, a standalone case of digital exploitation involving victims who have no connection to the Rogersville area or the Wells family. The internet is a global network, and many of these arrests stem from...
I'm going to stop right there for a second. I'm going to rewind. I think Killer Looks put a lot of fucking work into this. I think he did a lot of fucking research on this. I'm going to share the link too. Make sure you watch it and rewatch it and listen closely to what new technology is going on. I'm going to rewind that just a little bit. I'm going to pause it in a second.
Found the images in the dark corners of the web. His possession of them makes him a central node in the conspiracy. The TBI would be working under the theory that either he took the images himself or he is in direct contact with the person who possibly did. Every message, every metadata tag, and every timestamp on those files becomes a roadmap. And that was something we were led to pay attention to. Whether this leads to a physical recovery or a definitive answer regarding her fate, the tip from the Missing Children's Unit is a possible smoking gun that could prove the internet is no longer a safe harbor for those who hide children in the shadows thanks to facial recognition technology. As the TBI, FBI, Greene County and Sullivan County authorities process the evidence from the recent Van Hill raid, the world waits for the next drop in the Summer Wells case. But it is also essential to recognize that as compelling as this digital trail seems, it remains a theory built on the intersection of proximity and timing. In the world of high-stakes investigations, a tip from a missing children's unit can be a powerful lead, but it is not always a definitive link to a local missing child's case. There is a very real possibility that this arrest is exactly what it appears to be on the surface, a standalone case of digital exploitation involving victims who have no connection to the Rogersville area.
So if we're not looking outside of the Rogersville area, Ryan, where the fuck are we supposed to be looking? If she's not in Rogersville, and they're turning over every stone, and they haven't found her in 5 years. Layla's what, 3? All in. The list of Kingsport victims are just as long as the list of McKeesport victims here in Pennsylvania. The small city attached to the outskirts. Glassport connects right to country where a lot of these motherfuckers live today. You're not quite understanding, and there's too many of them and too long of my life. I'm 48 years old and I was born into this world for me to even go into depth and detail. But the feds are going to figure it out. I promise you. I truly believe my tip with Vicky Dykes might be a help. And Jody Sue, I heard you last night. You talk, but then you leave little messages. Don't dangle it. I'm not dangling it. I hope whatever you know, you're telling the police. Not the police. Don't tell Lawson shit. You take that shit directly to Melton. You're a neighbor. You're a witness. You need to take that shit to TBI. I hear your little messages. Quit fucking attacking me. You need to fucking stop. Because I know you have information. I know Karen Renfro has information. And one I'm going to tell you, I'm going to bet, has all the information. Is this woman. I think she's a victim. That's Marlena Crawford you're looking at. I'm not saying she is, but she has very close ties to this Vicky. And she knows a lot. I see a little bit of being scared. I also see a lot of her and a lot of the girls I know, like my friend Lisa, who's missing. She wrote me February 21st, 2026. That was the last time I heard from her. It wasn't even a month ago. I asked her how she was. Marlena, are you okay? Nobody's heard from her. I'm okay. Actually been doing good and trying to get my life together. I hope that's true. Last night about this time, an hour ago, 25 hours ago, I wrote her. Oh my God, I haven't checked TikTok in forever. I really need to talk to you. I know who Vicky is, and I know what she does, and I'm almost positive it's the same Vicky I knew back in the 90s and 80s. I am thinking she moved there because I have family there that she may actually be related to. I think Vicky Dykes is a sister or cousin of my Uncle Doug, who's my godfather, who's a bitch. Fuck him. And my Aunt Nancy. Granger is their last name. This is so important for Summer. I really need to find out if it's the same Vicky. Have you heard her mention the name Diverse or Marinick? Marinick's a name that sold a baby. I know that fact, and I can prove it. Does she go to that strip club or any strip clubs? I need to know where Vicky frequents. Or the TBI needs to know, not me. And that makes me think you do too. Did she ever sell you, Marlena? Has Vicky ever sold you? Or any other girl you know? I promise you don't have to be scared if it's the same lady, and I mean that. If it is, they're outed. Marlena, I promise you they're outed, and there's a trail longer than you could ever fucking believe, with evidence everywhere, including their own fucking stupid arrests. Oh my God, her pic is on Facebook, is an old pic. I'm telling you, this is the same fucking lady I know. All right. That's where we're going to leave that. Right now, we're going to go back to Milton.
Here, we look for children when most people aren't. And this case is one that we've just not been able to overcome, and it's troubling. Many people have speculated what they think has happened in this case. The difficult part of the speculation is that if we as investigators speculate and focus our efforts in one direction, we're making.
What this man is telling you is Lawson or investigators have speculated one direction and not looked another. Please let me let you re-listen to that.
Been able to overcome, and it's troubling. Many people have speculated what they think has happened in this case. The difficult part of the speculation is that if we as investigators speculate and focus our efforts in one direction, we're making a huge mistake.
Not the YouTubers, Ryan. If we as investigators speculate in one direction, we are making a huge mistake.
We have to make sure that we're being completely comprehensive as we investigate. And being focused in one direction is a tragedy for an investigation. So until we find evidence that points us in a direction that we know is the right direction, we'll continue to be comprehensive. We'll continue to explore every option that can be out there.
Which means every tip, not just the tips in Rogersville.
We would continue to ask for the public's help in doing so. Typically, we have.
With the public's help. Public. Not local public. The public. Ryan. You little fucking sausage stuffed bitch. In my opinion, you look like a stuffed. You get on my fucking nerves.
A couple of agents assigned to an investigation, and that's been enough. We've had over 6,500 leads, tips and leads come in on this case. Those have all been reviewed. They've been worked. We continue to get those.
5 years, 6,000 leads, and they haven't had a problem getting them, and they continue to get them.
And it is a monstrous task, but it's one that's not overwhelmed us.
They've never been fucking overwhelmed, Jody Sue. That one's for you. Leslie Earhart lied. I'd like to know why. This guy's the director, not the one that comes out into the media. Lawson lied.
Those have all been reviewed. They've been worked. We continue to get those. And it is a monstrous task, but it's one that's not overwhelmed us. We have been strategic in the way that we've handled this investigation. We have some of our most talented agents assigned to this case, some of our most talented intelligence analysts from the Bureau assigned to this case.
Intelligence analysts. Let's go to ChatGPT and look what that is. You ready? Ryan, and this would include you too, you little sausage. An intelligence analyst, I wrote intelligence analyst with FBI. What do they do? An intelligence analyst with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, is basically someone who studies information to help stop crimes, protect national security, and support investigations. Here's what they do day to day. Now, that was TBI saying that, so we're going to go to the TBI one too and compare, but I'm sure they're working with the CARD team as they've told us, correct? Analyze information. They collect and study data from tons of sources, phone records, financial activity, travel patterns, social media, and online activity. Reports from agents, informants, and other agencies. Their job is to spot patterns and connections that aren't obvious. Number 2, connect the dots. They look at separate pieces of information and figure out who is connected to who, whether a threat is real, and what might happen next. For example, they might link a suspect to a larger network or predict potential criminal activity. So Josh Milton is telling you he's looking outside of the box of Rogersville, Tennessee. You dumb little sausage. 3, create intelligence reports. They write detailed reports and briefings for FBI agents, government officials, national security teams. These reports help decision makers act quickly and correctly, so they could be looking at cartel threats outside, international. So even outside of the country would be a good idea to share Summer's photo. They support investigations. They work closely with agents in cases involving terrorism, cybercrime. Let me say that again. Cybercrime, Organized crime. Let me say them two together. Cybercrime, organized crime, missing persons, and drug trafficking. So it's a team that looks into all of these things. And if they see something that looks funky, even here on YouTube, like laundering or anything like that, eventually they're going to find it, because our FBI has a really good fucking intelligence team. I mean, we go to war. We caught Osama. If you think you're going to get away with whatever the fuck you did, you're not. Monitor threats. They track ongoing risks like domestic or international terrorism, like I said, cyber attacks, and espionage. They help prevent crimes before they happen, not just solve them after. I keep telling y'all I'm wiretapped and fucking hacked. I'm not fucking lying. You can ask my husband. He believes me now. He's seen it and witnessed it. We have weird things going on that I'm not even going to talk about, because I don't know if it's a threat or a help. It's been a little bit of both. Use tech and databases. They use advanced tools to search massive databases, map relationships like networks of people. So I came out on YouTube, and let's just say, I think what happened is, accidentally, when I started covering summer, I didn't know I had ties down there. And because I'm a YouTube creator, maybe the feds caught on to my channel because they knew Vicky Dykes lived in the area, and there's a possibility that I'm related to her. It looks like I'm a criminal, right? Because I know her and I am attached to everybody she knows. However, when they do dumb shit like put 5 fucking lawsuits on me, if you think they ain't looking at that, they are. It shows who they're trying to shut up and what the tactics are of silencing. So I don't even have to come out here. It's too late for you motherfuckers. I have no choice. That's what you're not fucking understanding. And that's because people like, I believe, Dana Boyce, who was my best friend who plays petty games behind the scenes, always has. Like, when we were fucking kids, she trashed a fucking high school room because she was mad at the teacher because the teacher gave her a fucking B. Like, for real, she's a fucking cocky little fucking cunt. However, they see she's in Ziggy's chat attached to me when she trolls me. And it leads them to other people that now me and her are attached to. This is just an example. But that's what they're talking about. Okay. Map relationships. Analyze trends. What I just said. What skills they need. Critical thinking and pattern recognition, research and writing skills, attention to detail. I'm pretty good at that. Never went to school for it, just something I always did because I grew up to not trust the damn motherfucker. Understanding of criminal behavior, politics, or tech. I don't know shit about tech, but I'm learning. I know criminal behavior because I was brought up in it. I dabbled a little in politics, not that I ever became it, but I've been to a couple council meetings and I've paid attention in my life. It's fucking crazy. Like, if you go on Facebook and say you hate Trump, they fucking attack you like motherfuckers. But what they don't understand is I don't hate all of Trump's policies. I think a new president like Trump that doesn't hurt women could come into office and make really big things fucking happen. But everybody assumed I was a fucking Obama lover, which is actually not fucking true. And I'm so happy. We're almost done. Let me finish this, and then I'm going to show you a news piece of something that just happened that I hope I had something to fucking do with. what skills they need: critical thinking and pattern recognition, research and writing skills, attention to detail, understanding of criminal behavior, politics, or tech. Analyst versus agent, important difference. Analyst, behind the scenes, thinking, researching, and writing. Now, Melton said they have analysts and agents. Field work, interviews, and arrests. If you want, I can break down salary, how to become one, what a role case might look like. Just tell me. No, we don't need to go into all that. You get it. If you have any sort of fucking comprehension skills, which, by the way, Annie Pats doesn't. She's a fucking bitch, and she needs to release the phone calls she sent to me. They're important, in my opinion. Okay. But anyways, we are going to leave right from here. And we're going to go right back to YouTube. No, actually, hold on. Okay, so I said, here's a clear breakdown of Glassport, Pennsylvania. The size area, about 1.9 square miles total. 1.7 square miles, 0.2 miles in water, or 0.2 square mile water. We have a lot of water. I don't know. I feel like that should be bigger. Some sources round it closer to 1.6 or 1.9 square miles, depending on measurement and method. Population, 4,475 people. Census 2020. Now, you have to think adults, children, they're putting everybody in there. You're going to have more children than adults in a small populated area like that. And we can go into all that, but I'm not going to. Recent estimates, 2024 to 2025, 4,300 people to 4,400 people. Small borough near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, under 2 square miles. Now, that is square. That's up and down, so like a mile long and a mile high. It's a very, very small, tight-knit fucking community. We're going to listen to this whole thing that came out on my local news just the other day. Oh, went to the wrong thing. Hold on. Now, I know that I've been listening to a lot of ICE stuff. And I know in certain cities, I see it, Earl. I know in certain cities, I see detained and not arrested. So we're not looking at children here. We're looking at adults that were not detained. They were arrested. So that means they had some kind of criminal activity behind them. Okay?
As immigration enforcement appears to ramp up across the country, the impact is being felt locally, where some communities report ICE activity and arrests are on the rise.
KDK's Erica Stanish has more tonight from Glassport.
Over the past 2 weeks, there have been 17 arrests by ICE here in Glassport, and it's something many community members here have witnessed firsthand. Pictures taken by witnesses in the borough of Glassport showing ICE agents as they surrounded a building at the corner of Ohio Avenue and 6th Street, escorting several people out in handcuffs.
It was like something on TV that
I've had many friends that live in that building up there on the corner, you see. I grew up in that building, sorta. Hey, Tina, Muri, you out there? Hey, Cheryl, you out there? I ain't gonna give your last name for reasons. Louie Lynn. Hi, you little fucking child trafficker motherfucker, you, Lynn. I see you. How's Yolanda? You alive? I don't even know if you're alive or dead. But that's what kind of building this is. Yeah, they connect. I've been talking about them in my community posts. The Marinix have lived in that building. It's always been like one of Glassport's problem buildings. My mom hung out in there. I hung out in there. Hey, Gino. Mwah. Love you. Glad you friend requested me the other day or messaged me or something. We spoke. Whatever. Hey. Anyways, let's listen.
That you wouldn't normally see in town here. It's sort of unusual because it never happened before.
It was one of several arrests made by ICE in recent weeks, with another happening near the Sunoco gas station that started as a traffic stop by local police.
They had a work van pulled over. Glassport PD pulled them over, and then I seen ICE agents pretty much cuffing people and pulling them out.
The Glassport police chief says he anticipates immigration and custom enforcement to.
There's my buddy I've been bashing. Well, damn, Sean, look at that face. Man, I really hope you start thinking about your brother and not your whore stepmother. Just my opinion. I speculate on this channel. I'd really like to know. I'm glad you're cooperating with ICE now. But what I would like to know is why you turned down. Oh, I forget the name of it. We'll listen and I'll pause. Funny, you would want to keep the bad activity in your community, huh?
To return. It says his department recognizes ICE as a federal law enforcement agency. Therefore, he says the department would provide support if needed, just as they would any other agency operating in the community.
I support ICE agents. I mean, I think they're doing good work. If you want to come to our country, do it the right way.
While many in Glassport tell KDKA they're okay with knowing ICE agents are in their community, others told us off camera that what's being done isn't right.
And it looked like I said, something that shouldn't be here, but like I said, they were only doing their job.
The Glassport police chief says the borough rejected an offer to be part of ICE's 287G program that would.
Hold on. I'm trying to find out what. Let me make sure my mic's off. I mean on. The ICE 287G program is a real federal program, not slang. It is something being actively offered and expanded with local law enforcement. What the 287G program is. It comes from a section of law, 287G, the Immigration and Nationality Act, that allows U.S. Immigration and Custom Enforcement to train and authorize local police or sheriff deputies to act like immigration officers in certain situations. That means local law enforcement can check someone's immigration status, issue and carry out immigration detainers and warrants, help hold people for ICE to start the deportation process. Now, hold on, let's finish. How it works, a simple breakdown. A local police department or jail signs an agreement called an MOA with ICE, sends officers for ICE training paid for by ICE. Those officers get limited federal immigration powers. So what this tells you is we have these people out here crying that ICE is overtaking cities. But what we have is cities not signing this so that they can take control when they detain people. It would be up to them to then check the immigration status and decide whether they call ICE. It would take a lot of the fighting away. But you got dickhead cops like Sean motherfucking DeVers. I grew up with him. Fuck him. I don't give a fuck. Okay? That doesn't want to join this program. So what you have is ICE agents coming in not knowing who's who from what community. And unalivings are happening because they don't understand the people that the community officers know, if that makes any sense. It is Sean DeVers' job as an American citizen to get the criminals out of our small communities. No, I don't live in that community no more. I live in Pittsburgh, and I probably have no fucking right to talk. However, I grew up in that community, and it's an example of what's going on outside of our big cities. I think it's important. That's just my thoughts on it. And I think if we had more officers that would enforce a lot of the ICE shit, it would take a lot of the fighting with American citizens away if they did it correctly. What you have is power fighting power instead of working together, which is what we see in Summer's case with Ronnie Lawson and the TBI, right? It ain't nothing new. It's just turning into fucking anarchy. And it's because the citizens, one, don't vote, and they turn a side eye when they see crime. Come fucking get me, bitches. I have too many missing friends and too many people that have overdied to give a fuck about it anymore. What's the point of being here when I'm lonely because all my friends are missing and fucking dead? I have my husband, who we have lots of fucking problems. What you guys have caused is a lot of fucking problems and confusion in my own fucking home. It's made life fucking hell. I don't think it's fair. And I will die. I will lose many teeth, saving as many victims as I fucking can using the platform that I have. May not be big. A lot of people may not listen to it. But I know the life I lived, and I know the people who were involved in my life, and I know the life I grew up in. And I'm tired of being fucking silenced while I watch the people I love around me fucking die. You get it? There's a newspaper article that before my live is over, we're going to read. It's going to hurt some people I love very much that I read it. But there are two people in that newspaper article that I loved dearly. And one of them's connected, married, who OD'd to one of the people I speak about who pinged at the hotel Layla went missing from the day Layla went missing, who I can connect. And I'm sure the feds are going to fucking find that information and connect it too soon. I have hope. Let's finish this news broadcast. 17 people in a 1 mile community high, 1 mile community long. Arrests, not detainees, from a troubled building in Glassport, lifelong, right? Y'all should go look up the 911 calls to that building and go as far back as the 80s.
Would authorize his officers and department to perform immigration officer functions under ICE's direction and oversight. The police chief released a statement saying their primary responsibility is the safety and security of residents in Glassport. He says no arrest by ICE that has taken place in Glassport has led to any violence. Reporting in Glassport, Allegheny County, Erica Stana.
Again, they put an emphasis on the word arrest. We'll leave that at that. I hope you all fucking burn. Okay. Where were we going? What did I say? Oh, let's finish Melton. We didn't finish him yet. We got a lot. Oh, that newspaper article. We'll get there too.
We have brought in subject matter experts within TBI from across the state to assist in this investigation. We have thrown everything that we know to throw at this case, and we haven't had the answers that we need yet. We know we'll get them, but we don't have them today. When I see the picture of Summer Wells, I see my daughter. And I can tell you that if my daughter was missing, I would sure hope that somebody was looking for her every day. And it brings me concern and satisfaction, really, the concern that we don't have the answers, the satisfaction of knowing that we have the best agents at TBI that are working on this case in connection with other local law enforcement and federal agencies who are doing their best. And if my daughter was missing, all of the people that are working on this case are the people who I would choose to work on a case if my daughter was missing.
Or even a YouTuber across town like me, or is it more likely a local who knows everyone, who knows people, who's knocking on doors and talking to people, doing the research, and every time they get information, sending it to TBI, letting them know? In my opinion, that's way more likely to potentially help solve the case. So in this case, I'm highlighting what happened last night or earlier this week, where Nana for Life came under attack. She's a local citizen. She's not a creator. She's not a YouTube creator. She's been out hanging flyers, conducting physical searches, or
She's not a creator, but she frequents YouTube and she frequents all the chats and she goes to all the local people and she makes sure her voice is heard. She tries to hide her face, but she can't do that anymore because Jody Sue has doxed her a million fucking times, for real. However, she has made a splash out here. Okay. And she has also used Ryan to do so. So when you're out here in the community as a local to somebody who's missing in a missing child's case, statistics show a lot of the times somebody involved in the case will show themselves in a public forum. Okay. So everybody has a right to look at Nana since Nana's playing so many fucking games with your dumb fucking sausage ass. Okay. That's your new name, Sausage. You're a stuffed fucking sausage.
supporting people doing physical searches, setting up connections with locals, things that just could not happen without someone like Nana who knows people, who knows local people who are willing to talk to her and willing to give her access to land that few people can get access to. That's important stuff. That's important.
And why is that, Ryan? So are you using Nana to get access to local people's land you can't normally get access to, so you could be a nub nose? That's what we called in Pittsburgh, nebby. Nub nose. Are you using Nana to do that? Are you a federal agent? Do you have a badge? Do you have permission from TBI or FBI to do these things? Have they personally had a meeting with you and spoken to you about what's right and what's not, and what could be contamination and what may not be contamination? Because I've seen you without gloves, with weird gloves. I've seen you doing all kinds of weird ass fucking searches with homemade fucking fishing pools and bikes that don't fucking work that were donated to you. Right? Like, don't come out here like you're a fucking saint. You literally tried to use Ziggy to get to fucking Fred. You went to the jail to visit him. You're just as guilty as Ziggy for marrying a dude. Why do you want to be that close to a fucking suspect when you're not a fucking agent? Sus. What's that game that the kids play? Among Us? There you are. You're a stuffed sausage Among Us.
Important work, and it moves the investigation forward. Not so much our investigation, because we're trying the best we can with what little we have. I'm talking about the TBI investigation, because Nana sends everything in. Important stuff she's submitted to law enforcement. But there's a dangerous trend happening. It's been happening for a long time on YouTube, especially Summer Wells' case. And that is the attack on locals in particular. either half truths or complete fabrications about locals. It hurts those efforts. It hurts the investigation. And
Actually, Ryan, how do you know what's true? Do you personally know all these people? Have you known them for decades? Have you grown up with them? Or do you just believe their stories because they get you access to land like Nana? You're a user, is what you are. I'm going to bet, and I said it the other day, they had a lot of poker joints down in Rogersville. I mean, I'm going to bet Nana has access to a lot of land because she knows a lot of people that own poker joints or something in some kind of criminal organization where they could call and set up and say, hey, clean your fucking property. We're going to bring Ryan up, make some content, maybe a Netflix docuseries, right? Right. They get them views. When people like me who want the real fucking information out there and the things that may actually lead to people being missing are being ignored with 22 people watching. Here's Ryan literally telling you he uses Nana for access to land that he normally can't get to because she's a local. And he just automatically believes her because she gives him access. Dude, you gotta be the dumbest sausage.
Today we're gonna try to put a stop to it, and literally put a stop to it, because I'm gonna help with this is a community service for locals. And if you are local, please share this with people who live in the area, because we're doxing locals. Today we're going to try to put a stop to it using the system. In situations like this, the type of people who do this, they're not, I'm going to get in trouble probably for saying this because a lot of people are angry right now. I don't think that Ziggy, the creator who did this, is a bad person. I think she has issues that drive this behavior. It's not of her own doing or her control or her own fault.
And then here comes Ziggy. Selena, look, I was down for Ryan. He had me convinced that he was a good searcher and he was out there for the good fucking fight. And then him and Andy Bernard started coming to my fucking chats and pretending they were my friends. And then out of nowhere, when I said something Ryan didn't like about Squall, Ryan attacked me and started threatening to strike me and all this crazy shit. And none of it never made fucking sense. He used Andy Bernard the same way he used Nana, which is access to property. I used Andy to get access. He had Andy in that fucking car going up Skinhead Hauler. Really, that's what it is. I'm not going to lie to y'all. And I really don't give a fuck. All right. Hey, Ziggy. I would really love to talk to you and Fred. I am defending Fred. I would really, really, really fucking love to talk to you and Fred about Vicky Dykes. I would like to know exactly how she made her way to Rogersville, fucking Tennessee. Bill Benton, too. I don't see those names in huge circles in the area. Well, I mean Dykes, yeah, but that's because she married into the Dykes. She's not originally a fucking Dykes, right? But I think we need to talk. Not tonight, because I've already been on an hour and 23 minutes, but I would like for you tomorrow, if you want, without any arguments, to grab a link. And you and Fred have a conversation with me about her. And I have some names I would like to throw around and hear if Fred ever heard. And then I think I would like to send that live directly to the TBI. Rewind, I called in a tip tonight. But anyways, let's listen to idiot ass fucking Ryan who uses people to get on land. So far, we're Fred, Nana, and Andy. With his own admittance.
She feels prosecuted. She thinks that there's a group of people that are out to get her. It feels like she's a victim. She feels like she's the one under attack constantly. Oh, good. I'm glad to see you here, Jenny. And that mentality, you guys, I know a lot of you feel that way. I know a lot of you are angry. I'm just saying that there's a whole psychology behind this, and it's driving this, and you can't fight. I'm going to call it a bad thing, but this is literally what it is it's a psychopathic form of narcissism where the person feels persecuted. They feel like there are people, there's the shadowy group.
So is he saying Nana is narcissistic? She feels like everybody's attacking her, so she's narcissistic. So you're sticking up for her and putting her down at the same time. Or are you calling us narcissists for questioning a local who's playing fucking games in Summer Wells' case, and it's starting to be very widespread known? Listen, if he feels uncomfortable, I'll come down. I don't even have to question him. I just want to know every single fucking thing he knows about Bill Benton and Vicky Dykes. I don't even have to talk. He could just grab a link and I'll come off panel. And if I have any questions, I can come up so that there is no arguments. Oh, he's calling you a narcissist. I thought he said Nana. Okay, that's what it sounded like. Let me go back. It sounded like he said she feels like everybody's attacking her. I mean, but isn't Nana doing the same thing? She feels like everybody's attacking her. That's what you're coming out here and saying. Nana's not a creator. She's not this. And Nana feels attacked. And then in the same sentence, you're going to say, but Ziggy feels attacked by everybody. But isn't that Nana doing the same fucking thing? Aren't you being a little contradictory here? Holy hell. Sausage. Stuffed sausage.
That's collaborating and want to take them down and want to attack them. So they feel like they have to keep doing this. And the problem is someone who has that psychology.
Good. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Okay. Not tonight. Let's not derail this. I think we have to listen to Ryan for a few more minutes before I jump off. How about tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern time?
If you go on the attack, if you insult them, if you try to make fun of them, that drives further behavior. It fuels, they're just going to ramp it up. They're just going to come right back. And that's one reason we don't respond to any of the people that usually attack us, because that's their psychology. Narcissists love a fight. They love it. They want you to fight with them. They want you to respond. They want you to insult them and make fun of them. And if you don't, it's the only way to respond to people like that is not putting fuel in their fire. But we do need them to stop. We do need this to stop, because this is affecting local citizens who are not on YouTube. Is their real lives. These people who are attacking are going after their real lives, their jobs, their families. They're digging into their families who aren't even on YouTube, trying to find out who they are and literally send people to go stalk them. It's dangerous. It's also against policy on YouTube, and it's not just community. It's not just guidelines. It's not community guidelines. What I'm going to show you all, especially for locals, is there's another category. There's a legal category of what this is that YouTube takes way more seriously than if you just say this is defamation or this is bullying. They don't really pay much attention to that. There's another category I'm going to show you how to report that's under the legal section. And all it takes is 3 of these. They're privacy strikes. And I have a feeling there's more than 3 locals who would have very strong justification for submitting this. And
Here we go. Remember how I told you he threatened to strike me? That is trying to take content from Summer Wells away. That is trying to take people away from putting Summer's face out there. That's starting fights. It's keeping content going. It's making it hard for the other creator to get information out of there. Ziggy is also related to a local who has more information than you can ever imagine, in my opinion, because he was involved with James Light, who was also involved with Karen Elliott, right? And a lot of other people that we know are named inside of the James Light bust, which proves shit like that happens in the area. So what you're asking is people to take Ziggy down so that you can silence Fred. Is that what you're doing? Ziggy's never struck me, and I have come on here and talked so much fucking shit on her. I've never struck Ziggy. And she's come out here and talked so much shit on me. Cher's never struck me. I've never struck Cher. You know who does a lot of fucking striking, who shows they want people silenced? Is a Ryan and a 6-Up, a Daisy, a Jankies. Jankies hasn't struck me. Daisy, for sure. We can talk about that too, Ziggy. I think it's time we mend fences, and I think it's time we come together for a better good. I see your group of people, the 6-Up, the TPE, the Ryan, the Andy Bernard, the Nana for Life, and I see their connections up here to Pittsburgh. Clear as fucking day. I feel like this is how a lot of us creators feel because we've been abused for covering Summer's case. I feel like this has turned into a lot of bullshit that has nothing to do with the real people that cover Summer. I mean, I think it does. I think Ziggy and Fred coming out here and stating these names and people putting the names together has made it more so for harm to come to people's lives. We truly did hear 6-Up's husband tell Ziggy that 6-Up drove from another state. Now, Ziggy, I would like to talk to you about your speeding ticket in Ohio. I would like to know why you were in Ohio, and I would also like to, and this is not for tomorrow, maybe further on. Tomorrow's just fucking Vicky Dykes. I promise you. But I think we need to talk about deeply, everything from the start of 6-Up coming to your channel so that I could quit calling you a handler, because I feel like you're protecting Fred. Actually, I know you're protecting Fred. We all see you out here protecting Fred. We'll talk. I don't want to fight. I really would just like to keep it to, let's keep it mutual tomorrow, 9 p.m. The only subject, Vicky Dykes and Bill Benton. That's it. In the strip club. Okay? Other than that, let's keep the other shit out just for a moment. I think that's the best way I can get to the bottom of what I am. Right. So you probably have a lot of connections to Ohio. I didn't know you were that close to Ohio. I thought you were on, I didn't look at the map. But that's interesting. You might know about this boat shop I'm talking about, or a certain man. I'm only an hour away from Butler County, and I can connect my locals all the way the fuck up there. Oh my God, I never made it there. I always wanted to take my kids. Aren't they still open? There's one in Ohio on my side. In Cleveland. I'm on the opposite side of Ohio of Ziggy, I think. Okay. Let's finish. Let's listen to this stuffed sausage another minute. Strike me, Ryan. I don't fucking agree with you. I think you're protecting a list of people.
We're encouraging locals to go through this process. I am going to cover the clips that she's talked about. She's attacked. She's brought out Kimberly, Nana for life, trying to, I guess, expose her, or, it's like a threat, saying just her first name, but not quite her last name, because she knows, I think she knows if she said both first, last name, boom, it's automatically a privacy strike. Nana would have, and probably Nana already does, because there are other things she said, but we're going to get into it. I'm going to show you what she said about Nana. I have a special guest. I have probably several special guests coming in tonight. I'm going to start going through the clips, and I'm going to open the floor. Actually, I have a couple more things I want to cover. Then I'm going to open the floor for Nana, her friends. Anyone who wants to come on, I've shared the link with them. You guys are welcome to come in. We'll talk through these clips, okay? And then at the last clip, I'm going to walk you all through, and that's the important one. I'm going to put this timestamp in the description because I want you to send it to locals, and it's going to walk you through how to submit this privacy strike. This is really important. If you are local and 3 years ago, she exposed your name, or she exposed where you live, or she's exposed something private about you, you can legitimately put in this report and it will count as a strike. YouTube takes these things very seriously. I got one before. In one of the cases I was covering, the mother of a missing child went after this woman, named her first and last name. That woman put in a privacy strike. I know how seriously YouTube takes.
The problem is, Ryan, if somebody's a good human, they would come up, grab a link, explain they're not, like, I'm okay with being wrong. You don't understand that. I'll make a fool out of myself if I'm wrong. And I'm sorry that I dox people. Sometimes I shouldn't dox. I've done a whole lot of that with my own locals the last couple days. And they can go do all that stuff, but they haven't. And that's because I know my people up here, if this fucking hooker's down there continuing shit, I know there's a group up here, but we're going to leave that for the feds. But if this bitch continued that shit down there, I know a lot of my people would not be okay with that. And if they knew about it, they would want some way of it coming out without them being the snitch. Guess what? I'll be the fucking snitch. Not my usual MO. I've kept a lot of this shit secret my whole life, but then I found out that I have a lot of backstabbers in my life that I've been protecting, who's never once helped me or protected me at any fucking point in my life. I've cried out to a lot of them for help many different points in my life. If you've helped to their best ability, and those are the ones I will defend now, tooth and nail, Lisa's one of them. And if she connects to Vicky in any fucking way, which, if this is the Vicky I'm thinking about, this is not me that wrote this. This is another victim of the same people I've been talking about. Vicky. Lisa told me about Vicky being a madam and how much money she made. Lisa wanted to do it, and I think that's why she left Shane's dad. We'll leave it at that. I put her name out there. I'm sure people have looked. I love her kids. Please do not hurt her fucking kids and her family. They're literally good people. Lisa was just a victim at a very young age, and I knew about it. Okay? I just don't think she knew what she was getting into. I agree. I also know Bart left because his mom helped him. I seen him around, but don't talk to him. I'll leave the rest for you to go read because that's not nothing I want to dox. But there's other, oh, I didn't show it. Hold on. There's other messages between the two of us, and I didn't even share all of them. I just shared the ones that showed that I was talking to. We'll call her victim A. We'll go A, B, C, D. This is one that's come forward, and I'm sure eventually more will. If I keep doing enough fucking convincing. That's my hope. Call Jeff Epstein, motherfuckers. I want all the pigs in that fucking town taken the fuck down. It's too small of a town for that kind of thing to be going on over there. And it's not what the elders would have wanted. In my opinion, anyway. Peppy was a good man, Glassport. You all need to start thinking about that. Start thinking about the way Glassport used to be run when it started to be bad. And who made it bad. This is no fucking joke. That's what I'm fucking telling you. I put my life on the line every time I come out here and fucking talk about it. I'm a fucking walking duck. But I love my victim friends. And I love their children and their families. And I want them home safely. And I want them sober. That's all there is to it, Ryan. I know my victim friend Lisa, the last time she reached out to her children to tell them she was terrified of somebody. She was in another state, far away from Pittsburgh. Nobody's seen her again since. I've already talked about it and told you about it. Her images were taken in either right on the Yuma border or Winter Haven, California, right around that area. She traveled with her, Bart, named in this, and he dropped her off, and I don't think Bart did anything to her. I think Bart helped her because I knew Bart when I was a kid, and that's not the kind of human Bart is. However, I think Bart needs to fucking start talking. You know what? I'm just going to end this here. That was a lot. And it's more than I should be saying. Way more. And I don't fucking care no more. I'm tired of 48 years of fucking secrets. I'm tired of being silenced by those around me, including my own fucking mother. And I'm tired of looking at my sister sick. I'm tired. My sister's kids were put on a dark web. I want that fucking website taken down. And I'm over all the fucking bullshit. So Vicky Dykes, if you're the Vicky I'm thinking of, promise you, bitch, I'm coming for you. You better fucking come get me first. To all the good ones out there, Pesamore, peace and love. Ziggy, I'll talk to you tomorrow at 9. Good night. Only the 3 subjects I spoke of. Vicky Dykes, Bill Benton, and that strip club or any other strip clubs they might have frequented in them hotels. Bye.